welcome back to the channel. Today we got week 2 of the NHL 25 cover athlete event, as well as a whole slew of new Gamebreaker cards, as well as a few new moments cards as well. We're going to break down all of the latest content. Let's check it out. So for anyone that did not get the deluxe edition of the game, you get your first shot at creating the final 4 cover athlete master set player items in Steven Stamkos, Vladimir Tarasenko, Alex Ovechkin, and Peter Forsberg, as you're now able to make them in the cover athlete sets. And you see that the 7-day timer, it will run until next Friday when the new event comes out. They do require 682 overall cover athlete player items, and they have been pretty generous in the amount of 82 overall cover athletes that you can get for free if you've been grinding the game and completing objectives and moments and things like that. Now, to refresh everyone, the 4 master set players that you're now able to complete as well, you've got Peter Forsberg with 2-way forward and gold unstoppable force. At 6'1", 205, he's got good size as well as good skating, 87 speed, 86 excel and agility to go with 86 balance. He's got mid-80 shooting, as well as 91 offensive awareness if you get 2-way forward activated, and high 80s deking, which is important as well. 83 body checking is useful, as well as his 87 strength to help knock people off the puck. And he has good defensive awareness and face-off, so you can use him at center, which gives you some lineup flexibility if you were to go after Peter Forsberg. Next up, we've got Alex Ovechkin, 6'3", 238, with sniper forward, as well as gold 1T, a little bit slower, obviously, at 84 speed, 83 acceleration and agility. Great balance at 89, however, and since it is so difficult to knock players off the puck early on in NHL 25 with everyone's low body checking rating, you're just going to have a heck of a time trying to knock Ovechkin off the puck. He's got one of the best shots in the game currently. Low deking stat at only 82 is a little bit of a letdown. Again, the deking stat is very important because it dictates how fast you will do a deking maneuver, as well as stick handling back and forth left on the stick. So it is a very important attribute. 86 body checking is great. Gold 1T, obviously in the state of one-timers right now, is an impactful zone ability. I just think it's a little bit more useful on defensemen for obvious reasons with the current state of gameplay, but still a great card in the Alex Ovechkin. Then we've got Steven Stamkos, a card I'm really excited to try out with playmaking forward at 6'1", 193. He's got 87 speed, 86 excel, and 90 agility with playmaking forward activated. One of the easier synergies to activate so far, just simply because there are so many players that have it. He's got Gold Born Leader, which isn't a bad zone ability. I just think that there are more impactful ones at this stage of the game. However, because energy is depleted so fast, I think if you have a couple players on your first line that have Born Leader, you can keep them out there a little bit longer. It's a nice little strategy early on. He's got a great shot, much like Ovechkin, as well as great hand stats, including 89 deking and 85 face-offs, which means you can play him at center as well, giving you more lineup flexibility. He is a very strong-looking card. I did not select him in the pre-order packs. I went with Cale Makar, who I still think is one of the must-makes from this event, so I'm very excited to try out the Steven Stamkos. And then lastly, we've got the 85 Vladimir Tarasenko, 6'1", 219, with sniper forward and gold schnipe. 86 speed, 85 excel, 88 agility, so he can maneuver quite well. He's got a very good shot in the high 80s, and hand stats are 86 across the board. Gold Schnipe is interesting because obviously we all know one-timers are really the go-to goals right now, but that low far side shot, or even just picking the corner upstairs short side, a lot more players are taking wrist shots in NHL 25 as opposed to NHL 24, where it was just snapshots, which is just flicking up. I think that's why you're seeing less impactful play from players that have Make It Snappy, but that just might be early on. He is a pure left-handed winger, obviously can't play center, so you have to take that into account because obviously left-handed winger is kind of the most populated position in the game. Now, we did get Cover Athletes Week 2 Objective Path, and by completing 3 games, you will get a choice, one of 8 82 overall Cover Athlete players. These will be account bound, so you can put them on your team and use them in game, but you're not going to be able to trade them into sets in the future or sell them or anything like that. And then various other objectives. Again, the totals to complete these objectives is very nice because you can do this in Rivals. You don't have to grind out squad battles to get any of these done. I really do appreciate the fact that at least a lot of these objective paths so far have been able to be completed via Rivals, and that's something that they should always strive to make sure when it comes to objectives and things like that. The 50 games might be a little bit of a stretch, but again, you've got a week to complete this. And when you do, you will get a random 82 overall cover athlete player. And again, you only need 6 to make one of the cover athlete master set players. Next, we've got a new Game Breakers release. These do look to be the new primetime cards, highlighting players that had big games throughout the season, highlighted by the 85 JT Miller and Shea Theodore. Taking a look at the new Game Breaker cards, we've got the 80 overall Cameron Schmidt, 5'8", 152, with playmaking forward, 85 speed, 84 excel, and 96 agility. When it comes to the junior cards or players from Europe that get a big overall boost, something to take note of is that they will always have some of their attributes jacked up way higher than a lot of the other cards in the player base, simply because they have a few cards or attributes that have very high ratings because they need to get to a certain overall. So really high agility is extremely effective early on in the game, making this card somewhat interesting to try out, at least early on. He's going to get pushed over with a strong gust of wind, but because smaller players are pretty impactful early on in the game, give this card a try. You might actually enjoy it. Following him, we've got the 80 overall Austin Sharnick, 5'9", 170. So again, another smaller player build with playmaking forward, 84 speed and 83 excel. Does have 88 agility. Shot accuracy is a little low for a forward. He is listed as a center, but only 77 faceoff, so this would be a pass for me. Coming up next, we've got the 81 overall Michael Misa from the Saginaw Spirit, 6', 175 with playmaking forward. And again, like I mentioned, with some of these younger cards that are in other leagues, 95 agility on Misa with power playmaking forward activated, 85 speed and excel. Does only have 78 balance and endurance. That is very low. He's going to get knocked off the puck very easily. His shot power, though, is jacked up to 91, and his deking is 88. Again, his defensive attributes are extremely low, as is his body checking, but he does have 80 faceoffs, which is nice, which means you can use him at center if you wanted to. Again, this is another usable card at 81 overall. Samuel Montembeault gets an 81 overall Gamebreaker card for dominating the Toronto Maple Leafs at 6'3", 222 with playmaking boost. Again, he is 6'3", which is decent size, but from what I've seen, the bigger goaltenders that have a very high speed rating, 82 is not deemed high. Those are the ones you want to watch out for, but if you are a Montreal Canadiens fan, this would be a decent card for you to use. Again, goaltenders don't really matter. Alex DeBrincat gets hit a card for his performance. He's got an 89 speed, 89 excel, and 88 agility skating rating. So again, one of the faster skaters in the game with high 80 shooting, great hand stats as well, featuring that 89 deking. Body checking down at 71. So very much like a Cole Caulfield X Factor card. If you've enjoyed Cole Caulfield's X Factor card, Alex DeBrincat might be a decent card for you. Matt Boldy from the Minnesota Wild gets one at 6'2", 201 in power forward. He's got 85 speed, 83 excel and agility, mid-80s shooting, as well as 83 hand stats across the board, so nothing crazy here. Other than his size, doesn't really stand out. Nazem Kadri from the Calgary Flames is up next at 6', 185, two-way forward with 85 speed, 84 excel, and 85 agility. Low 80 shooting. He's got 83 hand stats essentially across the board. Does have 83 body checking, which is nice. And even without two-way forward, he's got 80 face-off rating, so you can use him at center, which gives you a little bit of lineup flexibility there with Nazem Kadri. Next, we've got the 83 Josh Morrissey with offensive defenseman at 6 foot. He's got 85 speed, 84 excel, and 85 agility, 87 endurance, which is quite nice. His slap shot accuracy is a little low at 79 with offensive defenseman activated. Very low deking, but again, not super important on a defenseman. 82 body checking is okay, and 85 defensive awareness is usable, along with that 87 overall stick checking stat. So this is a decent left-handed defenseman for the early parts of the game. On to the 84s, we've got the 84 Jordan Kyrou, always a great card in Hut, simply because of that speed. 89 speed and excel with 93 agility with playmaking forward activated, 85 shot across the board. His hand stats are in the 90s, deking at 92. So is his offensive awareness and passing. He is a pure winger, obviously, with that low faceoff rating, and he does have silver wheels, which at only one ability point is quite useful. This would be a card I would love to try out because he's got good size and is one of the fastest cards in the game so far. Definitely a card we're trying to grab. Our next 84 from this release, we've got the 6'4", 200-pound right-handed defenseman Noah Dobson, two-way defenseman, as well as Seeing Eye, which we haven't seen on a ton of cards, but has proven to be a little bit more useful since the first week of NHL 25. At 85 speed and 84 excel on someone who's 6'4", that is quite usable when you consider some of the big players like Noah Dobson, like Pronger, for example, has speed and skating down way in the low 80s. He's got body checking 85, which is usable, and with two-way defenseman, which in my opinion is one of the best synergies in the game, he gets his stick checking and defensive awareness stat up to 89. A very, very good card in the 84 Noah Dobson. And then our 85s from this release, the 6'2", 197 left-handed defenseman. He's got two-way defenseman and Send It. While Send It makes sense given his performance, one of the worst abilities in the game. 86 speed, 85 excel, and 86 agility. Does have decent balance and endurance. His shot is all in the 80s, which is nice. Hand stats are a mixed bag at 84 deking as well as 88 passing. Body checking at 83 on someone who's 6'2", 197 is nice, and very good defensive awareness and stick checking. So again, another strong defenseman card. And then our final card from this Gamebreakers release, we've got the 85 JT Miller, power forward and off the rush. Again, off the rush, not a great hut ability, but his game-tying goal against the Flames was an absolute rocket, so I can appreciate that they give an ability that makes sense. 84 speed and 83 excel and 84 agility. On someone who's 85 is a little rough because he's only 6'1". I gotta say, I think that they rate his skating a little bit low. Balance is 88, which is nice. Mid 80s shooting, mid to high 80s hand stats, and 86 body checking is quite nice, as well as an 86 face-off rating. This is a great built center. One of the better ones in terms of just like the face-off rating, body checking so far that we've seen at launch. Again, skating is a little low, but still a very strong centerman card option for you. Now, to acquire these cards, it is still going to be the Hut Gamebreaker Sets. So it's the same 3 sets, and you've got a decision to make. You can cash in 6 Gamebreaker collectibles to make an 80 overall and above Gamebreaker player. This will be tradable, so you could get the 85s, or you could get the 80 overalls, or anything in between. You can do the 82 overall guaranteed untradeable player item set. So again, for 6 collectibles, you can get an 82 overall Gamebreaker player item. This will be untradeable, so even if it's not a card you want, you could use it in sets in the future. And then finally, you've got the 84 guaranteed Gamebreaker player item. This would include Kairu, but these are going to be account bound, meaning that you can use them in your lineup, but you are not going to be able to trade them in the future. I also want to point out that these Gamebreaker sets will include all of the Gamebreaker items. So, if you did a 84 overall choice in the first release of the Gamebreaker set, so when you got Morgan Riley, let's say, and you do this set again, there is a chance that you will get a duplicate, and as we know that account-bound players can't be traded in for sets, you kind of just have to eat it, which honestly makes your decision to try this set a little bit more difficult if you went this route when the first Gamebreaker release was launched. In my opinion, I think with that account-bound issue set, I would continue to try for the higher overall tradable one until there is a fix, or maybe there isn't going to be ever a set for the account-bound issue when doing these sets. Now, we also got a brand new wildcard event called Defense Rain. It is still going to be a 1 period set to 3 minutes, so very fast games, and the reward path is quite lucrative. So throughout it, you will earn, again, just small amounts of coins, as well as some guaranteed player items that eventually will add up over time. You will also get 2 Hut Gamebreaker collectibles. This is how you're going to earn them for this release currently, as well as another 2 at 12,000 points. And then you will hit the guaranteed Ivan Barbashev. It does not state that this is account bound, which was a nice change. And then finally, we get another Series 1 X Factor player choice set, which makes it far easier to get a captain card, as they have given out quite a few over the first week of launch now with the recent objective paths and things like that. So completing wildcard is quite lucrative again, so definitely something that I would want to attack early on. Speaking of wildcard, we've got 6 new wildcard cards released, featuring the 85 Evan Bouchard. And now all of these cards, I can confirm, are in packs. So you will be able to try out Evan Bouchard via wildcard or on the auction house if you really want to get this Evan Bouchard card. Taking a look at that 85 Evan Bouchard at 6'3", 192, he's obviously got fantastic size and just an absolute cannon, which you love to see. Given the state of D2D one-timers, this thing is a weapon, including Gold Thunderclap. He's got 95 slapshot power with 84 accuracy, which is quite high given the current state of defenseman shooting attributes. 84 speed and 83 excel we've seen to be usable with big cards like I mentioned, Pronger, for example, or even that Shea Weber. They are still usable with lower skating. And 88 agility is quite nice as well. 85 defensive awareness, 82 body checking on someone that's 6'3" is usable as well. This is one of the best right-handed defensemen in the game, but there are a lot of great right-handed options now. We've also got the 84 wildcard Philip Forsberg with Sniper Forward, which gets his shot into the mid to high 80s, and Silver Snipe, which I think might be an interesting ability for you this year. 85 speed, 85 excel, and 87 agility. He's got great size and great hand stats as well. So another good right-handed winger option for you. And lastly, we've got milestones for inaugural goals scored for the franchise, highlighted by the 85 Dylan Guenther from the Utah Hockey Club. 6'2", 175 with Sniper Forward, getting his slap shot and wrist shot to 90 overall. Gold 1T is obviously great. An 88 speed, 87 excel with 88 agility is fantastic. This should be a really, really fun card to use, and so far this season, it's been a blast watching Dylan Guenther for Utah. We've also got Nick Antropov at 6'6", 245. He's always great in hut. He's got two-way forward, which gets his faceoffs up to 80, 84 speed, 83 excel, and 85 agility. If you enjoyed players like the Master Set Eric Lindros, for example, then you're probably going to like Nick Antropov. Sean Hill for the Anaheim Ducks with two-way defenseman. Does get very good defensive awareness, up at 87 overall for an 82. His skating is quite low, but again, it might not matter so much early on. Ryan Donato for the Seattle Kraken gets two-way forward. Not much interesting about this card specifically. This would be more of a theme team option. And Scott Mellenby with power forward, again, same kind of situation, just not going to provide a lot of value here. Again, theme team option. I do want to mention for anyone that did not complete the week 1 Hut Game Breakers objectives, because last week we were able to get 6 collectibles via playing the game, but there was 2 extra in the Game Breaker objectives. One was complete 25 games in Rival Squad Battles and Champs. The other one is open 5 daily reward packs. If you haven't already gotten a few, you're not going to be able to get 6 for this Game Breaker release. So keep that in mind. Unfortunately, for anyone that just picked up the game, you're not going to be able to do that right away. You'll have to wait for more Game Breaker collectibles to be released, which it looks like they will be because these are replacing Prime Times, it looks like. And lastly, we've got a whole new slew of cover athlete moments, which you can complete for various overall cards, as well as a random 82 overall cover athlete when completing the final Jack Hughes moment, as well as the Quinn Hughes moment. So again, those will give you some free options if you wanted to make one of the Master Set player items. But that's going to do it for all of the content in the Week 2 cover athlete drop. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.